This is a fun book here. Mr. Met, Jay Horwitz, public relations of that ball club for a lot of years. And, of course, Triumph is the publisher. Book came out in May, and it's done very, very well. And why not? Jay's got more stories that it can give you. You'd be amazed. And he joins us now. Jay, welcome. Always a pleasure, pal. How you doing today, okay?
Thanks. Good to hear your voice. Good to be with you, Chris.
Good to have you aboard, Jay. You know, it's funny. You know, you could tell us probably a million stories that you don't want printed, but you got to tell us some of them because that's how books sell. So a very tricky spot that Jay Horwitz is in putting this book together. Give us enough of a tease without getting anybody upset. And you went down that line, Jay, very well. Thoughts there for a sec. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just try to tell what was like my relationship with the players, from Joe Torre to Dwight Gooden to David Wright, you know, just to what it was like to travel with the team, the 9/11 stuff with Terry Collins. And, you know, I owe a great deal of gratitude to Joe Torre. He was my first manager, Chris. He told me what it was like to be in the major leagues. On my first road trip to Montreal, he took me to a tie shop in St. Catherine Street. He bought me 70, the ugliest ties imaginable. He made me wear them for a week. But Joe introduced me to all his friends, to Reggie Jackson, Pete Rose, George Brett. Yeah, I really do a lot of credit to Joe Torre. He was my first manager.
Wow. So you were there in '77, Jay? That's when you started with the Mets?
No, 80 was my first year. I started April 1st, 1980, Chris. April Fool's Day, very apropos for me. I got lost on my first day to Shea Stadium. I was so nervous. I kept going on to Grand Central, right up in Brooklyn. Was an hour and a half late for my first day of work.
Well, and also a bad team. I mean, the '79 Mets lost 98 games, so that's a tricky spot. Breaking in with such a well, maybe it's good in a lot of ways. Takes Chris, a little pressure off you. Give me some thoughts there. Go ahead.
That's why they hired me, Chris. I came from a school at Fairleigh Dickinson in New Jersey. I was kind of an oddball PR guy. We had a baseball player got hit by a pitch 128 times. Priester played hockey. 47-year-old freshman football player. You know, one-arm fencer. They wanted a little offbeat guy because the team wasn't good, who could promote some stuff really off the field, not only stats. So I was offbeat enough for him, Chris.
Was there a manager who got fired that hit you hard, not having a Torre, Collins? Was there a guy that really bothered you when you lost him, when the Mets made a change at the managerial seat? Let me hear.
Chris, really all of them, to be honest with you. You know, you're with them from March or February till January. Till November. I remember when Art Howe got fired, I was really crying in his office with him. And the same thing, you know, when Willie left. These guys become personal friends. They're part of your family. And, you know, you read in the paper, Willie Randolph, Bobby Valentine dismissed. It kind of hits your home because, hey, could I have done something differently? Could I have happened a different way? And it kind of makes you you're part of your family. And really, every time somebody left, I felt bad.
You know, it's funny. We'll get to Mike and me giving you a hard time in a little sec. How about Dick Young? You're a young guy. Dick is still a huge reporter. I know he was very down on Gooden there. Did you have some issues with Dick Young there in the middle?
No,
Let me hear.
You know what? I had a pretty good relationship with Dick. I asked him for stuff, give me some advice, how to handle things. When a problem came up, I would call him. And he kind of respected the fact that I called him, and he would give me some pointers how to do things and, you know, how to treat different people. And, you know, I had a really good relationship with Dick. You know, went out to dinner with him a couple of times in the meetings when I first started. So I kind of let Dick know what he could help me with, and we got along very well.
The early 80s, you know, they didn't have that influx of people that you did in the late 80s. Sports talk radio, newspapers. I mean, the Mets got really good. So your job got a lot harder. You're dealing with, for instance, a daily sports talk program every day. And Mike and myself, the old Mike and the Mad Dog days, talking to Jeff Torborg at 3 o'clock with a bad team. So your job kind of changed there in a period there about 8 or 9 years in. Give me some thoughts there for a second.
A lot of times when Jeff's show with you would go on before the clubhouse opened, and the players would be sitting around in the clubhouse listening with the latest news. But you know what? As they got older, the players had to be more attuned to what was going on. When I first started, there was no Twitter, there was no internet. You wrote a press release. Now the PR guys don't really write releases anymore. It's all done with, you know, agents talking, players talking. So the players today have to be much more attuned to what's going on, who do you go out to eat with, who you ride up in an elevator with, who you walk in the streets with. It's really a different kind of atmosphere than when I first started.
And a PR person is in a tricky spot, right, Jay? Especially in New York with baseball, how much people love it. I mean, your job is to make sure the players are, you know, taken care of and or promoted properly, but you have to have a relationship with the working media. So that is and that's a lot of media. That's a very tricky line to walk. How'd you do it all those years?
It's a lot of media. It's credibility, Chris. One thing, you have really three masters: the ownership, who hired you, the players, and the media. And the players think you're partial to the media thinks you're partial to the players, and the ownership thinks you're partial to the players and the media. It's always credible to tell the truth. I tried not to lie in my years here, to tell the truth. In a market like New York, if you tell a lie, you're dead. You're a dead person. So you try to tell the truth. Maybe not say everything I knew, but trying to, not to leak stuff, to be honorable, and to respect all three facets of what you're working with.
All right, last thing, Jay. In 2000, when they played in the World Series, we used to be told that the Met players couldn't stand all the work they had to do because the Yankees were very difficult in those days to get to. You couldn't talk to them. They were the Yankees. And the Mets had to do all the media stuff going into that Subway World Series, and that got to be annoying. You had to deal with that. Is there some truth to that or not?
No. Again, if you have, I try to treat Chris, the number 25 guy on the team, like the number one guy. Of the players' respect, you have the best interests. I had talks with him before the World Series. Hey guys, we're gonna do a lot of extra stuff. Trust me, I'm going to spread it around. Each guy did a little something different. And it was a great bunch in 2000. And I thought, Bobby, it was probably the most underrated team in our history. We won 94 games, lost to a good Yankee team in 5 games. So it's just having a trust with the players, letting them know you're on their side and you can work with them.
Well, great job, Jay. And it's good to see you get some publicity here. You deserve every minute of it. Keep up the great work. Appreciate you coming on. Sell 1 million books. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate your help. Take care.
You got
Bye.
it, Mr. Met,
Bye.
Jay Horwitz.